That was your chamo. I ain't writing to me on my life. I need to take a break. Nah, yeah, a big break, pa. Nah, hey. And somewhere see dear. And a life we had a Bremo from a rehearsal. And number T, the history of Papa Shee. Hey, Papa Shee, the Shee man. Papa Shee's why in your mouth. The celebration of life. Hey. Nah, and then you the home meaning in our bebro. Just a wooty be our yamba show. And then Akosua Brempomaa waha. Papa Shee life history waha. Akusua Serwaa waha. Ubia wumbi. Ubia wum. And then some near the bebro and then no ubi kind video credits to rehearsal. Oko TikTok rehearsal back every day 8 p.m. Ghana time. So oh person what in your mass ya. What in your mass? What you say? What dear? You be and send him chiri mu. And me at the mara a year juma. A whole young fire here say and a young yama. Debbie. I was saying, Chiam. And then the history of the Papa Shee and the theater so yamba Jew say we say, hey, Kophobia yen yoma pa. Kophobia yen yoma. Na obey the abeni. Mechiam, oba like and love on the so tapu bina fu bibra. And I don't want a video nebe flow. What you see, enemy yet to be video the flow left and right, back and forth. And obe share your ma bibre. Obe share your ma bibre. At the end of the day, no, ya wo Timodo Bruni, high Timodo Bruni, ya wa do no so support Akusua Serwaa. Enya bone. Who reasons? But ya pese the biade chere wa ha no understand say na esi. Yin nyina te hanom na ya de beto akra celebration of life no akanso en correct. Enu nti no menti ma anya second day ne wo ho no because na cancel but omu go ahead to do what they want to do. What you see? Because no more someone Kenya so much share your money we and omu ntimi to in a direction you know people your mom direction here and same bebre. Enu nti na second day na ntimi amaso no. And mom de kwa sorry but guys woman also say omo ko yeah sorry after that no sorry ho na omo ye hey so for the Debbie. And the problem is no say omo discuss you woman nkophobia anya hwe o mo kai original plan no was say omo be ye a year friend say omo kwaje a friend say was the first place in Omdi Kakopay. Can you believe say no mumbuku yo? So no more the kanya home flyers ye the day. It later me decided so mokako buku no and yes it's taken. I'm far more. Just the way sometimes you know your man. Your dad no ho an tiasia. Be na obetiasia. Ate. Tinya daje ne tie di ebe. Mechia wo bibia. Mechiam. Yanko ni nkutie bi. And no betinson.
Mammy, Brempomaa cantam, and you quite fee. Or more casem Papa Shee.
And ne Papa Shee, yes,
every henny back on a hen and wood at them for 45 minutes.
Yes.
Papa Shee Kruya pee by no as more beca and say. Or mon casem ni na mammy Akosua Serwaa Timmy more dobruni yukunani be.
Tie Papa Shee,
yes,
problem.
And crab tabby or the cottage Lumba home insurance and on your day.
Some guys are some.
Oh dear, now but trainer China Chiri Nasha same way. Mammy Brempomaa by and your Papa Shee no Casamando. Mammy Brempomaa, Papa Shee Casama, Mammy Brempomaa, and Tisan could be over to my son the mood yet. Hey, Mammy Brempomaa. Can your mammy Akosua Serwaa? Na ene you know. Ubehunu say every time bia maami Akosua Serwaa be free abrochire obeba no. Se ofroka e Papa Shee. Se omo kwa himfia ba bia nipa okuta ne nsa. Obi a okuta na bati e Papa Shee. Na anu ya maami Akosua Serwaa free abrochire bae. Ona nipa no otwika maami Akosua Serwaa free.
Papa Shee.
Yeah, Papa Shee.
Right.
Papa we ya na ko organize crusade. Wamfa Yesu picture anko. Crusade na chi na picture na ebo ho no no e hwan.
Akusua Serwaa.
Maami Akosua Serwaa. Ya call court. Na anu ya. Ye pray free court dem na bloggers. Ye te papa bia na o ka se on be celebrate maami Akosua Serwaa. Mpacho sa voice muti free wan no.
Papa Shee.
Papa Shee.
Okay. The motive na enyoma miensa. One. Okwa infiri wadi kan ka kire ye say omo insurance bi as omo kwaji wo abrochire. Maami Akosua Serwaa o magana no na onam ne japade so a otwitwa pictures. Eno kire say ni interest e wa japade mu.
Yeah.
Lastly, somebody kaya team legal wise for no omo send sika. First na ekosi obi so. Obi ko bie momo. E de maami Akosua Serwaa din to so no ankasa so de ni din eto so sa momo na mo bie ya no ni pa obi ye.
Papa Shee.
Yeah, Papa Shee.
Me won a book was here my said a friend never want to have Papa Shee. Because Matanasi Asha Nyoma when you who said one that Lumba Japadi nyina na ni bre.
Yes.
True. Yeah. Se maami Akosua Serwaa saka bia. Obenya bi the first one is DLFM and the DLTV.
Yeah. Alex, me out charm me why you know.
Me da say. Two. Momo na omubie ye no. Oba kai say team legal wife for send sika bi ma papa bi a mo se papa ne di ye mpa chomo kai ni po mo send man.
Papa Shee. Na so bi agi momo. Kana na na sie no bi agi momo. Papa Shee.
Oba kai say first press conference a mo ye team legal wife. Uni nipa no ogira mu pa.
Papa Shee.
Obia maami Akosua Serwaa te Germany na ne passport mienu adru Ghana. Uni nipa no kuta sa passport no.
Papa Shee.
Sawa. Nana ma. Right.
Me fa ko class account. Ghana marriage certificate no o me ne kaka so Papa Shee ne ko ye bai.
Ye call court to crown no ka kire say ono e coffee akofa marriage certificate court to bisa no.
You must have
Now
Let's back so yes ayi Kumase ahemfo no. Kumase ahemfo no ne abusua penin kasa omo set date no. Maami Akosua Brempomaa ase. Na Papa Shee ya de ne fa abonten a few minutes. Osan back was one ti ase. No, nkwala
match dating. Papa Shee the back on court down move.
Yes.
He was the one that actually said this particular.
I can't place you.
na ye nim da say
Mr. Les me patcho as much help person wo try say property ni ade no ba ko na me kan na AI mi no me yi mfiri eno na eye ne ground down or the be possess Papa Shee ni ade ni nyina properties
na me ma na etie wo ba ji adi say na maami Akosua Serwaa ma Ghana no uni nipa ko je car free despite all
Papa Shee.
Papa Shee.
Papa Shee.
See, man.
Emma musika uni musika no nipa ko si ne so
Papa Shee.
Papa Shee kroya.
da ye ko Kumase papa bi gina bonten ka say ye ne emma so 13th no mo de ko eda bi 14th March uni nipa ko che sa date no
Papa Shee.
omo ka so mo go see billboard kese pa wo Kumase uni nipa ko si za billboard no
Papa Shee.
na hell the problem obi a on navigate ade ni nyina no Papa Shee.
Yes.
Na diama na yehu ame me de pa ne se wa hell se omo bu ye mpainfo nyina omo di omo nyina atem ye hemfo omo disrespect omo ye busu ye panyi omo se omo tu no Omasi abusuapanyin foforo ewo ayi funeral grounds. Na omo aye bibia wie. The last part woman yedru sesi ane say omo violate a court injunction.
Yeah.
So I have 10 pages of what the mami bi ade we nkyerem. Oza mo kasa tie bo mfa nkyem you. Na mo kasa na ma ye din no ya na me hwe ade bi nti. Amefa document bi nkyerem. Na ochina I prepare documents bi ne na sefo. Na Ghana be the brutal na da bia me kan krofo ntiase ya. Afei na mo behu die ntra ka se Ghana ebe the brutal no.
Ghana de ebe.
Because over leti quarter enya busuapanya asem biem o. Debi one move from that end. The wadru so na de wone ayi court ene ebedi. So hell. Omo lawyer no ebegina bonten ka kire say ade e course no enye injunction a me wonwa pa. So hell. She document away. But
Yeah, let me expand you this thing.
But yi DL no ne sikasem no free ho na ye be mankrofo bi showdown.
Okay.
No ye nhwa de o.
But is it okay?
Yes. Debi. I was so over type na I had drink kakra na.
But yes. And I'm a real coefficient she type of that.
But your document we could tell me about how many pages? Sorry, 10 pages.
10, yes.
Now, we a court ruling. Mami Akusua Serwaa Abusuapanin versus Mami Akusua Serwaa. Oshe ruling so or see on the 25th day of March 2026 before her ladyship Justice Alima
Abusua aha yesua de tie woba na de ye no wani ngia na de wa accept what you say. So on pa de sua na pese utie he bre yakotu body aha yenya sa yesua de ti aha ya de sua nko a what you say. Ti so hwe na woba no wani ngia na mesre wa accept why ubedi atema ye de be ma utoto o maame ho ahwan wo papa ye de bi be ma wa exact the same. Be invite wa when injia no was smooth to yourself. What you say me who say kwasi ampanyin bi Ibrahim bi betwron kwasi asem uji mi ntinu nhue nyansa ba ha me so ba no wani nje de ya exit yesa ututu no ye de bi be ma exact the same. What you say ti ubana de ye no se wani nje wa remove yembege wo aha yembege we so na asa de asa love ne like me so. All due respect, you share there to enjoy.
El Alawa Abdel Bassett. Judge ni dino no. We court no ruling na eba about the abusuapanyin beka ye nyina mo fa nche na 10 pages pe enwa. We no ho na after we no omo lawyer no a copy of all this as an OP court no dana be that interview. Na the AC court no na judge na nya adaje atworo ni nyina na odi amomo. Stawayo. Bibie ba bi ba ko pe no wakan. Macho we eden. Conclusion. Or say thou upon consideration of the process of fair filed and the court opens that as between the plaintiff who sued as the head of family and the defendants, there are obviously serious questions to be tried in respect of the customary law of the parties which require preserving the status quo, preventing the final determination of this suit. I am guided that the fact that the grant or refusal of an interlocutory injunction is discretionary and must be exercised judicially, fairly and candidly. Taking the settled principle into account, In the circumstances, therefore, in the exercise of my discretion, I hold that equities favoring the granting the instant application and same in accordingly granted. Brofu, favoring granting the instant application and same in accordingly granted. The defendants, their agents, assigned, privates, and anyone claiming through them are hereby restrained from holding any event in relation to the late Charles Kojo Fosu, aka Lumba, pending the final determination of this suit. Now, when a man says, consequentially, the court orders the plaintiff pursuant to Order 25, Rule 9 of CI 47, to give an undertaking to pay any damages that the defendants may suffer as a result of the grant of the application, if it is additionally, or say if it turns out in the end that the plaintiff was not entitled to this order. Starayo. Ade we mienu na judge ne kasa wa grant injunction. Na yen twen se bibia si su biema. Starayo. Yen nya nkrofo we dan. Nti se we na manya bia nkan a. Se we kura na manya bia nkan a starayo. Na me nkom ya nkasa me page so kura na me mfa TikTok de na kura nchiro. Starayo, ayi na nkasa ni o. Injunction on pacho si obeni. So pacho timeka.
But high court, yes.
High court. Now, I need to send a woman here. A 2 pages document. I didn't want to go to the other. Sorry, Adi. Judge, you know, I can have strict. What can I say hereby? The defendants, their agents, assigned, pivots, or anyone claiming through them are hereby restrained from holding any event in relation to the late Charles Kojo Fosu. Mr. Rahel, and assembly. The problem has been 1, Papa Shee, 2, their legal parties did not advise them.
Akusua,
okay, Mr. Alex, just give me 1 minute. Yes. Look at this. Yes, me Bisa say if a court gives a restraining order, okay, what does it mean if a court says restrain from somebody and I said the court is giving a restraining order? It says that in Ghana, when a court issues a restraining order, often referred to as a protection order in domestic cases, it is legally binding directive. It's a legally binding directive prohibiting a person, the respondent. Someone say you can respondent. The respondent were the 5 people, the 4 people. It says that it is a legally binding directive prohibiting a person, the respondent, from carrying out specific actions against another person, the applicant, or the entering specific places. And you know, when you look at what this one is saying, okay, it says, okay, so let me look at this. What is a restraining or protection, or what does a restraining or protection order does? I think that the first one even explains it all. I don't want to even go deep into it, but it says the latter part of it, duration and ties. An emergency order issued immediately after ex parte, meaning without the other party present, that lasts for up to 3 months whilst investigations are ongoing. Final order granted after a full hearing usually lasts up to 12 months in the first instance, though it can be extended. So it tells you that if court restraining order no a time limit, okay? A time limiter after no obetimi ade aye bibi. And so say court amao catch yourself restrained from an activity, not a day or two after it you go doing almost the same thing, and then you feel say because you have just said say I'm changing the name to celebrating unity, you feel say yeah, that is what the court say. Court says it says that consequence of violating the order. Violating a court order protection
Jane,
order
YouTube,
in Ghana is a
Michelle.
criminal offense. The consequences include 1. Arrest. Police can arrest the person without a warrant. Mr. Alex, police can arrest the person without a warrant if they have reasonable cause to believe the order has been broken.
Yesterday, it could have been chaotic. The catcher said the guys were on the ground. It could have been very chaotic. One, there were land guards, and our people were not going to back down. And I'm
All
telling
right,
you,
so then let's just leave it there, Mr. Alex. Number 2, fines or prison. A violator can face a fine ranging from 5 to 100,000 penalty units, or imprisonment for up to 3 years, or both. You can either be fined or imprisoned, or you can be fined and imprisoned at the same time. Okay, that is what the court way is saying.
Mame Nkwadi woman Sarawat was. The date was 29th and 28th. Nothing changed about the date. 2.
Okay.
The musicians that they purportedly said, say, Omabetonyum, Daughters of Glorious Jesus.
Bernardi, he was already here. He will come soon. Mr. Alex Pacho, go on.
And Krofona na Omodi Omoko as musicians, no, they all performed as planned. The cloth, na Oma plan is on be yusu, the same cloth and Omoye. San Krofo na they were restrained from that program, no, they all appeared on that ground. In the presence of court, Omu Pie na Omu Kachere say, Ebe baso. Na court ntimi ensesa saade no omo ko celebrate maami Akusua Serwaa. At that time a court jante no, why you wadwen say you push and you do it. So well, team legal wives omo na bebo omo nkrofo say they are going to do it, and the only thing that changed about the program ne say omo say maami Akusua Serwaa. Yemisa entoma no dear logo na edamana. And Tumana de from Muninano was injuncted. It was part of it. And the other no man chant to my fofro with Mammy Akusua Serwaa. Na and Tumana from Monano de be dear no de. So but you know when he answer. At this point, they have violated a court injunction and there's contempt. Once there is contempt, it's not about Abusuapanin, it's not about none of us, it's about the law. And the law must take its course. Period.
Okay, thank you. In such an order, if such an order is issued against someone, they must comply immediately to avoid arrest or criminal charges. And so we'll leave it here. I think that the rest lies with the court. And I know, say, sometimes unless you can, with time, let's see what actually transpired. Makacha must say, the reason why we talk about Mami Akosua Serwaa most of the time is that everything that is going on is centered around her and her people. And you know, we cannot talk about anybody else in this Lumba's issue than talk about Mami Akosua Serwaa and the people around her and things that they are doing. And to say, yeah, come once I'm not so big, baby, not for say we are being biased, you are at this side and you are this and you are that. Then you don't even know what you're talking about, because at this point, Odo Brony and her people, her family, or anybody has not done anything. They've not come out to say anything. They've not done anything. It is always Mami Akosua Serwaa and the people around her that are always acting. In every case, no, a young woman for Rebecca. Offer.
Mama, wow, what you mean, sir?
Yes.
Anyway, I was a penny fans now. I can't be show my name call or you. Oh, I don't know. We why? And I don't know. Ask me was your penny.
Oh, and now was up in your
No,
house.
no crack. I'm a frog cry. I'm not a Sabatam. Say, I'm not busy. No, preaching and then they send me who. No, preaching and then. But do you okay? What's up with you? I'm calling you back. Have your life. But
It's all right. What about me to send me preaching was?
preaching, they say, I the fact. Do preaching, I never want it. And they are the fact. But okay, if you are fine. Now, the question, I said, no, shall I be any sir? To also cut the same to already one day, already police by after them. So, why do it, my, if you are one to you, not after you, if you are okay, if you are okay. Now, I am the I'm not because you know me and from baby no so. I guess I'm here. Obi ahu de akosi ye. Obi ahu de ye. Almost some don't be idea being see that. There was a penny a born in a year now, ye in a year tan. The particular be ama. Even though sitting at your buyer, a Shanty Regional Minister buyer, just fight the buyer, Cocoa thing advance.
Now who is he? Tell me I suffer with our mother. Where was that person? So I don't know him. And I don't need. Yes.
I was not listening to something. Yeah, my child, but too much.
Too much. And I met there's some voice in your money.
We are Akosua Brempomaa first time. That is it. All Bobona video credit to the whole show. And then brother Alex.
Now that's funny and you will want to. I'm going to let me easy to say. And yet he said you're more. How far want to detect your mind?
I was there didn't be see. I mean, my back at the right time. Now to push up on him. You didn't see. Yeah, to us. I was
There's another, I think, there's another version of it that's a little bit clever. Let's listen to.
I'm like, I will start. Fire the pack. Fire the pack.
Ma, Professor Unia said, I would don't say the ocean cast. Abrena, Confucius cast or Moya Yenunka, a Yetiananka Beba. And to 1 month, not a Union. What's that? Nanka Confucius.
I want on a corner man. And I want a mamma Jumaya. Name me a brony Juma. I get paid. See me, Yam Jumano. Now, me much time or no pay. Now, what you see? Tam money has suffered with our mother. Where was that person?
Yes.
So I don't know him. And I don't know.
Ma, pour your heart. Can you help me a go?
I was a machine. I can't say me ham. Yeah, man, shall or be too much.
Grandpa Joe, your money be out.
But then they an exclusive interview and no more.
Now, I bet she said, yeah, ma'am. Oh, I do not know who TV so on the song December. Now I saw everybody in a drum one hour back. Now I knew when your man want it. And I'm going to select easy to say. And yet, easy said your motor. Now, I want to detect your mind.
I was they didn't be see. I mean, my back at the right time. Now, push them on your moccassin.
Miami,
can't be tell I'm marking you.
Oh,
at the right time, you best get to us. I have to.
Miami,
that'll be mine. You're back at later. You better say later. We say more cards to me.
I shall watch it.
Many more so and a year.
And some Akosua Brempomaa Abusuapanin. Someone him said during the funeral, and I know Ghana. That's when some are walker.
I'm sure now will start.
Oh, I think it's at your funeral. No, yeah, no, Ghana.
Nanaima.
So, Mama, me the memani kind with your master. It just say it goes back to it goes back to Asemna Meka about rebellion. One say, so she mentioned something. Say me menyo. Me say desperation. No, we are desperate. We thinking. We critical mind, reasoning ability. Enya juma. You talk anyhow. The obi beka biana wo di achire. Inti ebe wie no. Now we kwan na wo fa so answer of desperation. What did why your mistakes bebree which or say me menye. Secondly no. Ono no ye na dwuma wa abrochi oje aketua no. Ono Abusuapanin na be kire na da ono mbra no be ye na because she could not acknowledge his authority. On person may accepted the authority Abusuapanin wo as family head ono na ebetimi akase bia yenye date say. Meanwhile around that same time no court no for date on man for a year around that time no. It was just a week apart from the 13th. I think 6th or BB. You agreed. Okay, now only Papa Shee ekwachi to man. And I was saying by and I will say, Mose Montiasi and Anqualano school or obi ni passport.
The man and I'm him crime stop. Mokai say Akosua Brempomaa any team legal for any Akusua Serwaa monam de try some the injunction air to funeral so a day before the funeral. Tina funeral is Saturday na Mokai Friday no na assembly koko duru court na Akosua Brempomaa mo ye grant mo mo so mko face camera mo nye scam no Akosua Brempomaa so hwe the will see kasa be kasa ni woni Ghana entro Akosua Brempomaa brande bisi mi hu bi da atro
muni na o mamba ewi enkwala namba
o kana asema
match ya wo mu ya o mu school o ma ye passport renewal ni ade no eno kura mo na endra ye hu akwala ba kokura wo wi. It comes back to rebellion and then there is something about Mami Akusua Serwaa ni Daddy Lumba. One disadvantage of before you have Obema worry about what you change. Na me few years experience will be aseno. Mema few a minimum be a worry about when you change no unless the man has a higher income than the woman. If the woman is doing better than you are, they tend to ebimo feel say o pesa o ye nti say o ye wo ba ana unu aketwa. A natural be a trait be a pefu every wo ba ni mu ba. Until you tend to want to control the man. So Lumba was dealing with these two Akosua characters. Baku, the big sister who sold TV or the piame, ewa brutri. Because of TV now, or the supporting and she feels entitled to whatever obeja from Abuchi. Baku so your bana mishiana when you tell me, I know I worry Bruni or no I will cry and buy a penin dana or no nasena at a point, or supporting me or supporting me, he was dealing with these two women. So who studied that the Lumba Subayaba said he was not a lazy man. He got up to work with his gift and he earned from his gift. If you're a woman and you settle with such a man, I will bet you control the very short period now. That's the time bet you control.
When you study our
or train baby or yes, madam, and you think you are in control. When he starts earning his money, you can't control him anymore. Because naturally, in a member ego, no, it does not permit them to submit to women. Submission is for women. A member there is to love. And if you're a woman, are you a woman? You don't have any business with falling in love. Your only business is submission. Falling in love and leave it for the men. If you exchange it, now falling in love, now we expect submission from Bema, a error. In Lumba started do say like or any on one sikano. Then he became rebellious. What I said, the egoistic nature of him as a man, and when a man start here say, or no about way that, or then enough for way that, or because sa rebellion na Akosua Serwaa exhibited here with the legal a judiciary system, no or yes, koye kuna wanye Mamu bunchi yen court at the date and 1 year. No. That's the character. It is the character that she was living with Lumba. No. And I hear Lumba is not here to tell his side of the story, but we can put 2 + 2 together and see, say, this is how this woman was.
Yeah, no crank.
And Sa Apahano Nya initially said, if you watch the last time there was a video about Lumba, I think Ahimfuchini or something, one of the songs with one of these artists. If you watch that Lumba in the studio, and then you watch Akusua Serwaa, now also be in your opinion. Inti no a bedroom baby na asena Lumba jina ne nine so no. I feel you're rebelling, no go for bawa, no 4 bawa. Then she started feeling like or disrespecting him. That was one also feel say, oh Lucy Lumba. So Lumba just had to leave that whole whatever impact she had made. And that is the reason I think Inti say Lumba left that studio in Germany. Because the terms and conditions that came with that studio, the equipment in the studio and the sound systems and whatever, no matter how costly they were, they came with the fact that he had to trade his ego as a man to submit to a woman. It is a woman who make him say, a woman who is an executive producer and I will be a studio. I'm going to start life all over.
Fact. We coming from a woman.
When he came now, be she or no, yes, submissive, no.
Thank you.
No, take her.
And what take her?
It's a make herself when he met Odo Bruni, and he found a Muslim Lumba will be.
He be see.
Odo Bruni down for being beam. You think he was not getting advances from women? He was.
Of course, lover boy.
Lumba, who's studying in young to the car. On your bear man or your basa. But this woman, Mammy, we
don't you walk away everything.
Akosua Serwaa dey here na Brempomaa so dey here because of her role in his life, so supporting the kakra and Emma ye pesa ade no oba support o kakra no person control.
You do nyame 1 month.
Or support o kakra o dey ma o hwefie for 10 years. Wa hwefie constantly but no ho 2 months and 3 months.
Oh.
Obehu say wo oba no sika kakra fe dey do be o bu ni biem.
Dabi.
Inti Brempomaa so thought to say me nua no because of Asante for more system na ye di of ade ni ade no ohun no say ono ne ma na eba be di Lumba ade. So she also wanted to control Lumba, control his assets, control the BBA. Eda ade no owo no ba echi no ehon anka na ope chance no. And I think say Lumba realized their characters into free Germany no. Yes, he ni nua ade obetimi na ye fine, but okate ties with maame no. And until no bagana no pe baby ada ne babe man ne be friend papa say da ma bagana na cause he fa no betimi ada obenya baby ada na. He's a wise man. He cut communication with the woman. But the sister they only communicate. But Brempomaa dream no ye do of idea memma and eba be di Lumba de. Me na me to TV man. And I think say Lumba genuinely loved the sister no. Nti ebi na ne bon komo a lot, but a time be drew ya Lumba be the sister ni suban. Nti that was when I feel the way by we and when who said no. So small girl we are my friend, a small girl now one exhibited a lot of maturity. More than their winning chen Lumba nanka sample. When who said nya dia sakola we be nya ho kwan. It's my minister one kwaya baako.
Ajeta.
Minister one kwaya baako no ye ne ntwe.
Hey.
And see, that is the game they are playing now. And if you listen to Akosua Brempomaa, you can sense the hate, you can sense the disappointment at the same time. Because they are not going to have their way. But let's Brempomaa.
You will be posted that. We will analyze it. I don't be posted.
Now we are going through challenges. Let's not make decision. When you find yourself in a temporal spot, don't make permanent decisions.
You are right. Thank you.
I mean, can it be learning? When you find yourself in a temporal pointer, do not make a permanent decision. And I am a dear we come renano. Me as a man, me who say a quantum deal never liked it. And because he never liked it, no, utu kwanya omo matna wacheno and a chira on your man. And the man who pan say, Ukonyo ba, watana wache kakra unim nioma. Because of your vulnerability, that person becomes somebody I would die no. And sad I would die no. And one ipanebe buao no. Or hold that thing on your head.
I wish you about liking and love on this video. We credit go to Rahel Show on TikTok every day, 8 p.m. Ghana time. Unya binti yukura kone kuti no kure. What you say? No kure keke kohone kukuti. Why? And support who you want to support. Thank you. But love and the like and the Sonia and Twasso.
Head forever. And unti dear Nensa ebe so bi ewa kwantium no. Na no kure bi anadi wona hyase. Enti forever in his mind. Obu ne se medo wonti sesi ade yenko fie nko ware. Watuni burunyi na tie de. Base burunyi ni free wa na ya ware. That could have been the plan. But burunyi ni free hono na deal abeye deal. A chain nipa no we revolve, we evolve. Now your evolvement no say atade a wo hye ne next hour won sanya kasika bi emu dronim de osesan first e on tade and titi ara ho semo ni frenia na ne afra 20 years ukutapoma wo sawa poma na de no ko ba bia wo Oko crusade na ye bompa na ni ti se kima onim de ototwene first
poma
but o de be na ototwene
Pomano. The help no. Ade aboa no na nante for a long time.
Pomano. Onim ni entra. When I was blind, I needed the poma. But so when it be the poma becomes useless. But so we will be a person we be the poma no be see. Now I kai say and am poma we and a boa me. So here, and even a deal yeah. Poma no want to anchene. But Pomano so amre no hwase amone na ntena fie. Nti Pomano pam deal so onko. Yes sir. Wa boa de. But ayeya na senka won saka no. Wan kasa no wa pia eden ato atwene. It's just an unfortunate situation. Na arahuseme wo mniye. We shouldn't force people out when you feel like you are better than them, because obi nim or Brempomaa Abusuapanin. Say deal na omo pam na si abonte no munim so ba be yesi anka, they never would have done that to them. Asase a wugina so enye the same. Obi timi tena tamale onya hwe, but oba akra ade obenya no wakra no wa wotena tamale wontimi nya bida. Enunti Germany eboa Lumba ya papa, but the blessing obenya no Ghana no was 100 times better than Germany. Enunti nipa opam deal free Germany no I chiri no mbete se afama no, but enam wa wonum ne wonsem kekanti no, you couldn't apologize. You became very prideful. So our folk go through these phases. So the expectation of a 20-year-old man, somebody in his 20s, and yet the same as somebody in his 30s. The 20s, you know, are very youthful, and the youthful exuberance, you know, a kick in. Now in the 30s, you know, no mass will be there until they begin to look for a brabomunioma. In the 40s, you know, the person wants stability. You can worry will be all 40 years now or 20 years. More expectations are different.
I get that.
Papa no pebema oba ojo bit natna. But akurano so nim say when ya panyi bia wo ska oboa no. But akurano be do 30s no timi ono ani sika. Afa de panyi ne mu ano ohia biem. Eno na course. So Mami Akusua Serwaa, I can say it and say it on your platform. Pe enkoma yete say in the last days no. O catch the deal say oh you're sorry no. A year na me raho. So why? Until we can be very egoistic and very prideful for very a long years. And at the end of the day, with that years now, why you know? What to the crata barana say for you want to turn around. The men you see today in the next 10 years will not be the same men.
Fact.
Timidity mami Akusua Serwaa. Painful was same omoka. The way you lay your bed. Una will lay bed no. So them. Now the ama me rekura on sister wa. She had a very nice opportunity. Say, ukuna wu. One o makasa. Obana oti fi ho na oye ukunu yere no. Ne buam fu. Se bra. Sister wa oba fi ho no. You had a mediator. Aye mami a champon. And then the kasa ye mani peja will say young ko dem unko kasa. Sister wa it was the best opportunity. Will push you to stay on the same pedestal. Until the recognition, the respect, the blessings that came with being affiliated with that Lumba. Niyire odobronya put you on that pedestal. Sorry, the can't send you as a nyoma 4. Okay. It's a greed, enviness, jealousy, and anger. Omi ya niafu, papa eye bayi. Sa nyoma 4. Sorry. After that, because say, wosi abusuapanyin akofre obi asew. Saa nipa na mpam wa mfiri ne fie. Saa nipa no ene wanko. Wanka se opam ne kunu. Oba se be manya asomdwe wo ho a. Ne ex de omde aye ne bi obeka kyerɛw. Because you become the trust. Nti de course wo Germany nyina ye papa Lumba aka ne nyina kyerɛ odobronyi. But wamfa saa bufuo ne yaw no antetew anyhow. Sarah. Jame kwaya na usame. Jame kwaya na usame. Mami Akusua Serwaa the only dead Lumba yere mami odobronyi jina the same pedestal. But nyobi ne kuma ntwina ye kano. Whatever is happening to the woman, your no ankasa ne wishes. And some of us, we don't even have emotions towards it. Because you be na den call court, one I call court. Ono ana ne obusuapanyin ne namba bi bebre. Ono ana ama na busuafo ama yie no. Ono ana ama na busuafo anko yes ye de. No no ama na busuafo anko ye bibia. There was nothing on it that stopped Mami Akusua Serwaa from coming to Lumba here. Jono de ekoso no yo no. Mami ko Mami Brempomaa. Akosua Serwaa book ne de aye radio. On the book ne de aye ready kura da nti. Lumba nsem ni twam. Asta wa yo. The character Mami Brempomaa. Asta wa yo. So wo ton TV di wo nua tu kwan a. Nana hema afa ho nti memfa ho sesia. TV na wo do nua tu kwan no. Ye misa se ho na de ono nso tu kwan. Deal kura no do tu kwan no kura so wasan baga na. But wo na wo ti akwantum wo ye bronya adwuma but deal ye bronya adwuma. Onye bronya adwuma. Nti se wo abrabo bia wo se wo bo akwantum a you have the opportunity, you have the legal bibia se obeye because ye bronya adwuma kura. Na onu nua ne kasa wo fo no so. Mr. Rahel. Se deal ene se de ye kan wote a de ni nua ba yi. Mr. Rahel. Ne rebe ho bruta. Because obi a wona ne kasa 3 days time wo wu. Ne yire frɛ back to back. Ne yire frɛ akuma prekope. Na utimi do this 360. They say unim. Wakasa tia busunya panyin relationship de me nsa papa ndo be che no. Ye de Lumba ba krato. Enti nkura no omhu se omo maame preko pe. Omo soa. Enne saa nkura no hu a. You be very careful, Sister Rahel. Because to the extent say utimi catch say omo maame mpo. Ah, come on, man. Emma watema. Man to say mema. Ti for oba unim se maame ono unua ne te ho. A ne ma uye shopping kura de bre wo mo. Na because of one kasa the opposite uye. Uye 360. So what would you think so do bronyi will feel? And how na udwen say ohu a obeye. Media to me, in interview no. Wakasa 4 times na maame mfa from ansa na hima abam. The first one or say opese oye ni nua na yie. Na ni nua na yie ne de ese oye. So hell. Eno na yin say ye twen no so be ye yie no. 2 da oko Germany omu bisa ne say na se ne yire na kuma aba. So what ya some kan e? O say ajapade ne sansem ne de ende na yire no mo de o. Eno gya e hokoye. Na no ba ni enim say okopa chow nurse ya kan bom. Star Rahel. O say ye ma no kwan na onye den. Onsu. Sorry, Mpacho, underlying word. Program na ekọ so na no Mpacho. Usun Lumba.
Osun ide a me dem ehun but me dem minji ndi se osun that.
The purpose of say okọ Rahel ho no me na asefo ni nyina ne say opese osun ni nua be ma no. Nti nka me dwen say yanka e kan say celebration of life na say ye jai no. Say Rahel. Nti ka on fa sun ni she fridge mo. It's all about your white dove. What blocking on? But you're unblocking no mommy. Why? White dove. White dove. But you're whatever. Sa adie na course no. Wansu. Enti sa asem no ko ka kire mpanyimfo ne se opeso ni nua na ye no so no. It was a fallacy. Kofi aye no was a rehearsal. Nti na medwin say obeda former minimum who say we a first attempt we hit. What is that hit ne ba deal program na se. Mahushi. Now, and no confirm say it was an agenda. And no, Emma me didn't know ya because and yes sooner a dododia na opa. And ka mam Akusua Serwaa celebration okranka oma. Because a court injunction atoswa na e wunia there everything revolves around you. And ye mam Akusua Serwaa. Because wo and wo yes sir. Is that right? Ya bon nyom na oto ne nsa na osa. And no mami who say na enye no kre. Na saa asem no kan no de akamu a ebe ihu ebe start o chena nso ne say wide over mbe unlock you de ama na yehu ne say osi omunkotu ne nua no Sarah he no so bebobo aba ena ne da nchen na enne video na wo boy na mamere aho na hima ka ni nyina e wo but Sarah he obi a wo ye celebration of life. What has Abusuapanin got to do with this? What has that Lumba got to do with this? DL and Sema will be kind of program ya see, you know. And your dear celebration, and your dear 1 year, and your dear iron na she able dear leading to the over kind, and the mommy who said she's in agony. She's seriously in a bitter state. Now, Wamaya who said, and no my wound yawa would dinner and say, wa bokagu. Because no Jane said the attention will be around her. But yet that in the coin Mammy Akusua Serwaa no. That means that you have no business in it and be a baby you have nothing because the program is for Mammy Akusua Serwaa. Tiwe Tia we are Mr. Rahel. Is she gonna come back so be celebrate DL? ana obeka kire ye biem say nyame adoma 1 week odobronye de aduru ha 1 year time obeba. You don't burn bridges. This woman has caused a lot, and I leave it. Nana Hema can anti.
All right. Miss Alex Mepacho, I also like to come in when it comes to the audio Mami Brempomaa. Mami Brempomaa audio now, and as an interview, one of the things she actually said that really got me is the fact that she actually said, Oye Abusuapanin Akwa Ana, and that Abusuapanin na ebe shed date. Or cancer abontin suni. She actually used a very, very, very deep word. Say, onon a strong word. Thank you. That's the right word. Onona oba beshe no ye obroni ejuma enti onona oba beshe seat na amano na so ko na ye yinedia. Mpacho me pese me bisa say on the seat na ye share no to even the 13th na ye see that Lumba no. Na Mami Brempomaa wo Germany anase na o Ghana. No, I'm just asking. Na Mami Brempomaa, looking at it, time I started call court. Mami Brempomaa call court till see ye call court we. On the seat na ye she na she was actually singing say oye broni ejuma and that say it was a penny neba be shade data man na or corner ye ne what have you no, but on the seat right down to the 13th no na Mami Brempomaa wo Ghana na say na o Germany. Clearly she was in Ghana. And what is she talking about? At the end of the day, is it about Abusuapanin? And now it's about brother. Sankasa as unini free yefunu bakumono. Ono ena is about and I say it's about Abusuapanin. I don't understand. And come to think of it, so say hona woti say unia yesien on the 13th. Mepa mocho according to everything that we have heard on social media. The 1 week celebration now, Abusuapanin DNM candidate. She was okay in date almost share, she was able to come to Ghana. It was the same 1 week, and almost share say on the they will either do a on the 6th or on the 13th. The only difference was that probably they couldn't even decide on the date, but these 2 dates were assured when they had a meeting. Say these 2 days, which some meeting now almost decide these 2 dates, not only present, including their spokesperson, which was Papa Shee and then Jiga and all the other people. They were all present in this particular meeting. And you knew, say, most definitely, ambaso on the seat, ebebaso on the 13th. These were the 2 dates almost share. And she said, even if you are not okay with the seat in the crown puna, what about for no 13th date no Moshe? And also, so no, what did you also come to say about Abusuapanin? If truly the whole thing was about Abusuapanin setting the seat no date no na ma mene bonus 13th no so for no so share no so what happened? So clearly it tells you, say, this thing is not about Abusuapanin setting a date on the seat and I'm here Juma with it. Because on that seat you are in Ghana. 13th no krana na yesi ni nua bema na nkasa. Ye di ni nua bema ne she form. She was in Ghana. So what is Mami Brempomaa talking about?
It's 13th no. 6th no. Send na yesi Papa Shee ne kotie mu. Almost spokesperson. Now, to add something to the Abra lexicon, Akusua Serwaa, I said that the Lumba. She belittled him. She made him feel less of a man. Because anytime I will buy, you take Bema through that thing now. Forget it. Obejao. She created a certain image of Lumba to the Germany community, I think.
They got to a time I believe say na Lumba crown to mean pejanity crown Germany ho. On am crown to mean pejanity. He will lose his confidence as a man because she kept embarrassing him all around. And sa statement na Alex make here and say no munim say Lumba beba Ghana no be ye ya. Nka wan pamna manamba. So obeye ye don. It became a surprise to all the people now was saying Namaomono. It is the repercussion of that surprise now is only Lumba Townfuni na kwaye bako. Those who thought nothing good can come out of him. Those she painted pictures to say, oh, you're a womanizer. Those she painted pictures to say, they made that on a tenant, and the landlord we buy a say just to make it look like. Oh yeah, or no, yeah, na Lumba no nyano. Omuni na they couldn't find their way back into the neno. Oni omuni na ya bako. If you look at Papa Shee in the picture, who was Papa Shee to that Lumba? Nobody important. We are suddenly no. Or no na it's at the center of affairs. When he started showing up, he was showing up as Brempomaa rep rather. Before I realized, say it was now all about Akusua Serwaa. And I insist, say, no. As a woman, no, I see beyond just touching her in the public. I insist. There's an agenda. And see, everybody will try to play the other person. But at the end of the day, will be so Obama peace of mind with the woman or flourishing. That was what happened to Odobroni. Fortunately for Lumba, no, he got Obana. On one case on stroye. I was saying kuta kumapa. Inti yes ubi biya ekoso. And then the age gap and the fact that she respected him and all that no. And no cry na ma papa no utimi nyinche because in kasa ade na ye no jane she yanum fo winsa nka me sure so omo yi ni free watch. Inti all these things no, that is what they are doing now. Lumba townful. And our mabeye Akusua Serwaa adofo. And I say ne affiliate. Who does that? If you loved the man, you have children with him, he has properties, say bibeba o maho or ye the papa da we are say hang go hang come. Even when you are taking care of a man, and I say wo show be ono so ye bibi ma ope. And no one can wine anymore. Can wine anymore. And now what done celebrity by force. Sa celebrity a day we also tells us say she's always been in competition with Lumba. She has always been in competition with him. So what meeting?
Sasama walking Emma Medrin say. Then I come out Brempomaa say coming to Ghana with that Lumba no comes with this kind of fame, this kind of love, and then also no comes with this form of connections and money. And cause she will leave everything and come. See now or back Ghana now the love people have for that Lumba it be transcended to her. And I say kakre canon. Look at how often she's coming to Ghana. Than the time Nana that Lumba here is so back.
And that is why they can't stand Odobroni. No. They can't stand her because when they all left Lumba in her care, she became his best friend. Omuni na omuja Lumba no, ono akwala no, amo friend no akwala no, abaywa no akwala no, ono na beye Lumba best friend. In that time no, assembly ati say one opening be share no, he was sharing with her. Na say Bema power him to a certain extent that I'm telling you, he cut ties with the outside world. And Lumba did that. Edu baby, he was not about friends. Remember, so as they grow, no, they want a perceptions, and then see, I also saw Yare. He was just a typical family man, very family oriented. Unfortunately, Oba Fesa or yes, on Warren had already had a child and all that, and I'm going to Munsem or Buano near dear, but a very family oriented man. And if he left Germany saying he wanted more kids, it also means to say, Kwalana cry, be over Germany, all man a no and train him the way he wants, and I say, oh, no, also control. So he just wanted to be his own man. And obey, and I am yadum. Into other boni be ni bibia, and that is where they missed it. Into now, young targets, no. They don't know how it happened. Yes, uncle, yes, then Konako, there's a song like this. Yeah, Jana Quincy uncle, uncle. And because he had a good heart, I think, and all that Nyankopon just brought this little angel to just bring him life, longevity. Mo just said, be sure to no more calculating the wound, and yan no start calculating year after year. Na a year mo fly, year after year, na year mo fly. Nti asem ni siwie na de ne mama yen kambom na ye tribo pona yesusu for years no yen bring it into fruition. But you see, Lumba is a wise man. He introduced Odobroni to all the people that matter. All the people that matter in this country, he introduced her to them from both political parties. Say only why people will stand for her. Because he knew at a time like this would come.
Looking at everything that is happening, Esenka, that Lumba introduced you Odobroni, and there are no videos to back Omo Union no, and that were introducing no like we are seeing it. Seriously, boy, I don't know what would have become of that lady, because even when it is so glaring in our eyes, even when everybody knows that Lumba goes everywhere with this lady, he has children with her, and that baby they portray husband and wife, and that we're introducing it to everybody. Look at how she's being treated now. And see, just look at it, say, Anka, that Lumba didn't say, and I say, Ebia, he felt so okay. Because of situations, and one exposing her. Then I don't know what would have become of that lady as at now.
See, Lumba took his time. At a point, I'm sure he had a deep reflection about life and his situations. Then Yama SCC over the period, and he just realized, no, Charlie, this is the only person who is mine. Say we are no, you be my way dear like so this is the only person I find solace in. I can trust. I can that is why they want to paint a certain picture. Say Wokuno. They are looking for something to tie her down. Because they don't even believe it, say, a younger girl like that could fall in love with a man like that. Charlie, but Emma, dear, when it comes to Odansama, it's a whole lot of things, a whole lot of factors. And he cut them off and all that. Because Obehu Obia Subai for who they really are. Ya real time, no Emma, Obia be in the Subai channel. Ahuchemu and I kasa. So Lumba had the opportunity for years to know the people who were really for him and those against him. And that is why Obe trustee Akwalano. And me say the day that woman will open her mouth, so Obe Kasana. Ghana, her young mom Pai said she will never open her mouth. Because she knows too much. And I'm sure she will back all of them with evidence. She knows too much. And they should even thank their stars to say they got an in-law like Odobroni, Brempomaa especially. And ka upe fan krum nkreni anka buden chobana. And also the omu kop or boot for buta. Ha. And kagana beyede. But omunda nyamia say she's not that type. So we pray say nyankopon enko so an krano na onenema. And God will continue to be her defender. Sorry, you're mute.
Okay. Mr. Alex, I think said there are a lot of other videos that I wanted us to have discussions on. But I'm sure with time, gradually people will get to know the truth. They'll get to know Obia true colors. Both women, the family, and everything. Gradually, we are getting to see them as omo ye niyama no as their actions and inactions no. I'm sure it's speaking to all of us. Until with time no, we'll get to see as things unfold. And then obia behu bebia no kreneda obia behu sebi obia nso suban ene enema omada nedi so far. Okay, let me just pick a few people to come in, and then the other videos we'll go into it. But you see, there's one thing I also like to say we have seen that Lumba how it went. We have seen the media right from the one who's on a make our platform was to say they should allow them to do this celebration of life, and then you be team, and it has shown. In fact, Enyama adedi ama yehu said Enyama echo, say echo ye or say whatever it is. We have all seen it. Okay, we have all seen it. We all thought the celebration of life was something. Personally, what I was expecting, what I was expecting. But then again, if that is what makes Mami Akosua Serwaa happy, we are all in for it. All right. Beam, Pacho, please kindly come in. Applicants, the Abusuapanin, give an undertaking to pay any damages that the defendant may suffer as a result of the grant.
See, Abusuapanin, ani omaka say, ombetenase. Na ekabia sankrofo no bebo. About say mukoye event no. Omon chance wansa. Na yeka asem no wie na Abusuapanin se na ewo se Abusuapanin si omukwan a eka bi omabobia no mpacho to aso.
It says that Mamin kind of Miss Alex, listen to the plaintiff applicant give an undertaking to pay any damages that the defendants may suffer as a result of, but Mamin kind say you would understand it, as a result of the grant of the application, if it turns out in the end that the plaintiff was entitled to the order. I think said this one is just a repetition of what their lawyer came out from the court to say. So what here the court lawyer Nika say judge ne say uncommon train so train celebration of life so name mono so mo ka asem ni wie na se Abusuapanin e ko ba se odi for wa asem ni mu a na se nkofo na boka bia obema ono atua ekana mom. That's exactly what this letter is saying.
Well, that wasn't what their lawyer said. One, their lawyer rejected, said there was no injunction, which was false.
And I think later when he granted the interview in his office. And
it doesn't matter the timing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's the when a court
it's Alex. The court restraining them, the lawyer said it just after Ogranti interview. No, he actually said it. But later when Baba Jama Chambers came out to explain what had transpired at the office, no, the lawyer was just the defendant, some lawyer was just trying to say the restraint was for that Lumba, a celebration of life, no, but any other event there was no restraint on it, and as a injunction and I'll be beyond that, so they could go ahead and then probably do the celebration for Mami Akosua Serwaa.
So I will leave it. I wouldn't touch it again. Mpacho Brem.
Yeah, Nana Imakwaba.
Rahel, it's your phone in Amichiamo.
Bache Joseph.
It's been an interesting weekend. Friday, you can say in and I'm fan send another. You can say in a train by the close of today. We will know what happens. And as we said, say, it's good. So my and we have all seen it, like everybody said.
Nanaima, hold on. Nanaima, Bacho, please kindly hold on for me. Let me just pick Shamu. Keep saying I should pick him. I want to know what he has to say. Shamu Bacho, when you came up, you said you wanted to.
Yeah. Thank you for granting me this audience. Mr. Alex, Mr. Mission will be based on Mr. Alex Sayina Oka. And say we abide by laws, although, but yension from this angle, Abusuapanin if we are in fee, right? It's when issues like this come up, there will be calls from other quarters, like they would like to solve everything within the family. However, when we say pressure, the Abusuapanin so onyimre fee. Omo mpese ebefa Abusuapanin so na yewe nti obejeli wo no ano emoja nti be calls be so. However, there is also a pending case on the 23rd, which the defendants are seeking in case if they win, they will want to take damages. In this case, in damages, no, I don't umbeji damages. No one, enra, enene, umaye, umude, ayesa, ma many dear. In this case, if every Abusuapanin are acting very, very smarter, something they are cooking something for him. That is what the submission and the margin was the whole day. Because
you see, Shamo, you see, sir, you see, I think said they think they are trying to outsmart everybody. We've seen a letter about out they are saying say ya mom crime celebration of life into court no grantia. They are going to do all these are just gimmicks. Okay. Sabi, the court is not I wanted to use a word, but I don't want it's a strong word, I don't want to use it. I'm sure the lawyers of the Baba Jama chambers, they have seen everything that has gone on. And I'm sure, say, even the judge, no Krapono will see. People have seen what has actually transpired. Right from the get-go, no, from their Papa Shee kind of court, and everything that has transpired, including things that have been said on social media. I'm sure they are all privy to it. And so if they go to court, Mefo said they are doing the celebration of life. And after that, they will not go to court again. But looking at the letter that has come, which I don't even know where the letter is coming from. Letter no crying. I don't want to even attach importance to it. But there's a part of it of the letter that says, Akusua Serwaa crime mananye we na court mom they will come. You think they think they are playing smart on Ghanaians, and I say playing smart on the court. But all these things are going to play in court because a lot of things have transpired, and the court, I'm sure, has seen it. And let's just give them the benefit of the doubt.
I understand, baby Alfriban, but my issue is, when dealing with people of this type, you need to be very, very careful because they know what they are doing. We might think that they are acting irrationally, but they know what they are doing. My issue is not about Diomaya and Enrano. That one is past and gone. And me, as an Ashanti, I know there will be pressure on Abusuapanin to drop it. That one I know. I know very, very well. Say there will be pressure on Abusuapanin to drop it. However, if the pending case never 2010, that is what I don't know what Abusuapanin is going to do about it. Whether he's ready to face the full rigor without any ramifications. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Okay.
you. All right. Nanahima, please. Nanahima Pacho Akwaba.
Yeah,
I
fair
wanted
enough.
I wanted you to have time to deliberate on the issues. That's why.
Okay, until before I go into the deliberation, no, looking at what happened yesterday. But before that, too, Sarah, yesterday there were two major events, and I expected a meaningful part to come around, and the major saying that he said me bu asem no na afei de me mfa me judgment mbra me de me judgment ba na say nipa no mo twe mo ba court no odifo a na etese mo sika na niema na mo be ye mo celebration ba so ni na me fine no me mo tua woka na watimi aye wo celebration. The same thing happened Kumasi in December. Kumasi there no, it was Mami Brempomaa and Mami Akusua Serwaa who took Abusuapanin to court. No the injunction e ko to a year so. Now when they sent the injunction no, Mama Jama chambers for responding, and then they filed a defense. In this case, they didn't respond till a date was the day of the hearing. As we speak right now, they have not even filed their defense. Omo respond a day na hearing beba na ekoba ne say beko akoye holiday ni ade no that was when they responded. So as we speak, if you read the judge in the order na was say omo file defense and so embra. So they have not even filed for their defense. But December there no omo the injunction to Abusuapanin so no omo responded. Omo file for defense and almost 30 demands in the defense. And they clearly stated, say in case it's a court never grant you injunction now, then ahumboa any a kai Abusuapanin abo in preparation towards the funeral. No, omo bet you had this amount of money. It was in their defense from Baba Jama chambers. Into when judgment na buy no. Lawyer no was not honest to tell them, say, if the judgment goes in our favor, this is what the defendant is asking for. So they just, the judge spelled out the judgment and the excitement. And be say, mashe go. When you go to court, and that's a judgment bar, while the judge is reading the judgment, a copy, and I say, or kind. It will be recorded. After the sitting, you go to the court registry to have a copy of the judgment. And I say of the order now. It is incumbent on you as a lawyer to sit down with your client and interpret the ruling or the order for your client. Because there are legal jargons our clients on tiasi. More terms near the wow ye lawyer no what I bet me I break it down sometimes na am our clients no. In be our clients ne or take courtroom or say my grant injunction no or no na kwana na ni je nti de edi eche ba e bia wantie onte brofo kra bia wantie ase nti wo na no ne betina ase na waka hye ne say point na and as a conditions attached to the grant no this way you better say, if their lawyer had told them, say, Abusuapanin lawyers were demanding this amount of money. If it goes against them, they would have known already. And they wouldn't have come out with the narrative, say, like Mami Brempomaa Abusuapanin and ye call court and ye buba ye who ye no sign call them and no sign by and almost fine ye 20 billion. It was not so. That amount was clearly stated in their demand for their defense, in their defense. And the amount of defense in Kaobu, so their lawyers are not doing due diligence and their lawyers are not helping them. The same way na lawyer we have judgment the ruling about a court the ruling as an order about sit down and interpret point after point for your client. Now what I mean the ordinary Ghanaian can go on any search engine and I say can talk to any lawyer and ask say what is an injunction and an interlocutory injunction, I say, however, interim injunction. Well, how does it work? It is a lawyer. Wo banner say wo be can say you are coming to you can say oh be say oh the other lawyers in the omo nim nyansa. And does he know what the cost is? If Baba Jama Chambers lawyer Dominic the omo be kan no is not as they should, the court can find them. And I said the judge can find them. If you won't interpret it, then you come and say this is not what the judge meant. Are you doing your client any good at all? It's two things. Either say they just decided not to listen to anybody, and the lawyer has realized that they don't listen. That's how I'm beginning to see the whole thing. If it is not so, dear, then as it is looking now, that damage is now can judge no ebejiamamono. Damage is being number so because nobody here can tell me said they celebrated Akusua Serwaa, not that Lumba. You must be very I don't know, you must be very very low to a certain extent. So who say what happened yesterday was not a celebration of Daddy Lumba. What was they could dance for? Obi aye celebrate so of course satisfy kunani aye dey. Say you celebrate
now
so.
they think they are outsmarting people. They think they are outsmarting the court.
That is it. And you can't outsmart the court. I'm afraid for them. I will say we as Ghanaians, we take certain things very lightly. But when it comes to matters like this, that is in the public limelight, everybody is following and everybody is interested. No, a judge has to be very firm in decisions he makes concerning this matter. And obviously, the ability to pull through with whatever they did yesterday and today, no. And because tell me why. Say the university sent a letter. Say they didn't know music concerts. We cannot allow this anymore. But then it happened there. Saying after the letter, and couldn't they follow up to tell them say it happened. It happened there. And then today too. And I must say one of my all-time favorite gospel musicians in this country is Daughters of Glorious Jesus. I do so much love them. And like somebody said, I'm not really disappointed in the fact that they went there. Because like I said, everybody is entitled to be loved. But the fact that they wore the ceremonial cloth, I'm highly disappointed in them, to be honest. You can't tell me say whatever happened there yesterday was not celebration of deal. There were evidences. Obi bejina ho tontoma yesema mo nton bibia obi abejina ho apake ka etontoma amanfo e capture langas ehye nwuram yesi o matetete nwuram amanfo using langas itself a criminal offense since 2019. With the langas and I say from saying vigilante for groups who engage you in any sort of thing you are doing, it is illegal. Court. Everything they did yesterday was an act of rebellion. And I said it the last time, say, for me, if I have to look from this from a foundational point of view, I will say, Akosua Serwaa is a rebellious person. Or Akosua Brempomaa. The characteristics of rebellion, they say they defy authority. They don't want anybody to tell them what to do. If you watch the sequence of events from the beginning Akosua said one major concern was the fact that me na me maame awo me ni me nuamu e da me nuawu e na wo na ofi abonte be kire me dia menye. So she didn't want to submit to Abusuapanin. She didn't want to respect the authority of Abusuapanin. And you can see the same thing with Daddy Lumba. Because men are egoistic, no. When a man finds himself with oba or a rebellion, one of the traits you see the man, they say, oh, pete na ho baby. Oh, baby, so that was what happened with Lumba named Mami Akusua Serwaa. He was all over women when he was with her. But look at the period he was with Odobroni, because she has that submissive and humble character. No? You can see. Yeah, train sanka Lumba wu ye. Sisi a months are passing. Yeah, train will be obeba say many Lumba woba. Many Lumba. Yeah, omba. And like I said, I'm very disappointed in Daddy Lumba cry. With the kind of prestige in this stage you do ababum. Okay, so by now no, we are enjoying baby mama dramas and yet they enjoy Siano. You can see say a group of rebellion people no more join the forces. And I'm waiting a captivity other rebellion people. No so my better what I say? And see everything they rebel, including the law. We are in Ghana, so people think they can have their way with things. Obibeka say, oh, yes, I saw somebody's comments. And I got that crowd call you cry when they are waba. So you think say it is something that, oh, we a trivial idea, so you can get away with it. No, you can't. And we are looking forward to what the court is going to do from tomorrow. This is not Babajama Mwasem. It is not Omumata. They can only send evidences and whatever data they've been able to gather over the weekend. But this is them against the state. It is no more them against Abusuapanin or them against. So the gentleman who was saying said they are going to say yes, settle out of court. No, this is not Abusuapanin against them. So we boom run so na say one respect an injunction na contempt na omo ka no enya Abusuapanin na no we be twesa contempt na a law no a state no against you yourself. Until now we are all waiting to see. It's very sad if you see the level of support they have on social media. But Rahel, one thing too that I learned yesterday is say, man, social media hype in the build more. Because by the hype of social media, no, now University of Ghana 10,000 I say 11,000 capacity no crown and it's shot for team legal wife for a year. So we share social media hype and not any expectations, the violence and the aggression and you are going and a bus say Charlie, that mean him say it can't hold them. And then we feel say we are so powerful over social media and I'm paying for where I'm back. Hey, I didn't almost to go school. And yesterday as we saw. Apart from nipa no fine husband. And if your daughter some call her name Mrs. Obinim. I don't know who I saw them.
We're already expecting to see them there because they actually went to Mami Akusua Serwaa. Obiani one more bar celebration of life. It was new to any of so he said, oh, this person actually came because right from daughters to Obinim no wife, your friend is saying
Florence.
Florence Obinim to the Kofi Tea, the Borax, and everybody it is or Kobe. We knew all of them. The only person that maybe are not people were not expecting to be there or we knew say daughters Munina, we already knew said they were part of this team. And Omuko
Madam Serwaa, you're sure to be here. We'll be back later. That's what I say. And then what's she near be about Papa Shee and Akosua Brempomaa. It's you trained the courtons and some of the quackos. You see breaking news to be about inch be at the bedroom. Why? Madam say, Mama bye.